Hey guys, welcome to a special episode of Judge Jodi. We're going to be predicting the average ratings for who we think will be the main players in the squad this season. With me today, I've got James from Spurs Related. James, how you doing?
Very well, thank you. Yeah, all good. Keeping busy. Looking forward to the season. Less than a week now. And yeah, very much appreciate you inviting me on.
Perfect. Thank you for being here. And Sean, of course, Sean from Paxton Road TV. Shawnee, how are you doing today?
I'm all right, recovering from 2 hours of babbling during yesterday's watch along, but yeah, it's all good, all good.
Oh, well, yeah, it was. I don't think. Well, we won't talk about the game today. We're not here to talk about that one. Next week, we're going to have Judge Jodi straight back. We're going to be predicting we're going to be doing the player ratings for the Premier League season starting from next week. But for today, we're going to be doing this prediction show. So basically how this is going to work, we're going to basically predict what we think the average ratings are going to be for the players for the 22-23 season. And then at the end of the season, what I want to do is kind of tally all that up, and we can see who comes closest, and there'll be a prize. So what I want to do is everybody, all of you as well, play along. I think if you guys have got any predictive ratings that you want to send them through to me. And then what I'll do at the end of the season, I'll, like I said, tally them up, and then someone can win a prize. So yeah, very excited about it. I don't want to get into too much about it, but we do have a big game happening this afternoon as well. So the Lionesses are going to be kicking off, I think, 5:00 this afternoon. So how are you guys feeling about the game? You're going to be watching it, Sean?
Definitely be watching it. Yeah, I mean, I've really enjoyed. I haven't followed it religiously, other than watching highlights. I've watched a couple of live games. Very impressed with the French team, who alas are not in the final. But yeah, I think probably the two most committed teams are in the final, and it'll be a great game. And obviously, my best wishes go to the Lionesses, in spite of the fact that they refused to pick Ash Neville. But we won't go there.
Interesting.
James, you be watching?
Yeah.
I'm sure you are.
Yeah.
Heard on like me.
Yeah, getting behind the girls today. Obviously, just said before stream, I'm going to hold my hands up and admit it. The last time I wore this England shirt was the Euro final, so I might change it before I go out because it might be a bad luck charm. But yeah, like Sean was saying, looking forward to it, and I think they should win 2-0. I think 2-0.
Yeah, come on. Come on, you Lionesses. All right, let's get into this. I know people want to get off and watch the game later on, so I don't want to do a too long of a show today. So what I want to do, let's bring it up. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to bring up the team. So who are we talking about today? So we're going to talk about our defense. Apologies for the pictures of the new players. Spurs have not updated their website yet. So there are a few dodgy looking photos in there. But anyway, we move on that. So who have we got? We're going to start off with Lloris. I think I'm not going to give my prediction first. I want to go down the list. So I think, Sean, tell me what you think. I don't want it too long on each player. I think we've got to go short, sharp and snappy. We've got a lot of players to get through, but tell me what you think about Lloris this season.
As they would say in his homeland, he is formidable. Yeah, he's for me a solid 8. Never lets us down. Few and far between. He'll gloss over Wolverhampton Wanderers. Yep.
Perfect.
He's going to be a solid 8.
An 8.
8.
All right, so I'm going to write that down. You might be in for a prize, so you're all included.
Oh,
everyone's
no.
included.
I think as a member of the team, I should be precluded from prizes.
Does that mean I win? What's the prize?
You have to wait until the end of the season, find out, James.
Our viewers will be in the too, James, as well. Don't you forget?
Yeah, we've got a big list of people already. So, James, what are you thinking about Lloris? Shawnee,
how will he do next season? I think obviously he had a decent season last season. I think the year before he was probably even better. I think Lloris will have a 7 out of 10 season. We could see a couple of I say classic Lloris, that's harsh, but obviously he's a world-class goalkeeper, but we know he can, you know, let a couple of sloppy goals in occasionally and potentially, you know, have a howler. But I think he'll have, like, I agree with Sean, probably an 8 out of 10 season all year, but then maybe he'll let in a couple of goals he shouldn't. So it brings it down to a 7 for me.
Yeah, I agree. I had a 7 for Lloris. I think we have to rely on him. We relied on him so heavily last season. I think he does have a couple of mistakes in him, so I think that's going to knock him down for me. But I think a 7. I haven't included Forster in here because I don't know if he's going to be playing many Premier League games. So this is just for the Premier League, obviously. I'm really interested to get your guys' views on. Do you think we're going to see him at all in the Premier League, or is he going to be constricted to mainly the Carabao Cup games, or maybe FA Cup potentially?
Yeah, I think he'll be more of a cup keeper, to be honest with you. I think we'll see him maybe in the groups, some of the group stage games of the Champions League. I think Carabao Cup for sure, and maybe even the earlier stages of the FA Cup. I think at the end of the day, obviously Lloris is a far better keeper, but Forster is probably the best backup goalie we've had in a long time. I used to like Gazzaniga. I thought he was a really good goalkeeper. Obviously, it didn't really work out with Galini, and we've obviously also had Joe Hart. But for me, I think Fraser Forster is a really, really solid backup goalie. And when he comes in, I think he'll do a job. And I think from judging him just on the fewer games he'll play, I think he'll probably get like a 7 out of 10 as well.
Cool. Thanks, James. And then, Sean, do you think we're going to see him really quickly? Or
I think I echo everything James has just said, to be fair. And I even gave him a 7 as well. So, yeah, I think he, you know, I mean, it depends on Hugo's fitness. You know, if Hugo was to be injured, then we will see him, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't expect Hugo to get an injury, and I'm not wishing him one on him.
Cool. All right, let's move on to Dyer then. So I'm going to go with a 7 for Dyer. I think I've made it known on many streams that I'm not entirely happy with Dyer as a starting centre-back. I think there's better out there that we could upgrade to. I think last season he did amazingly for us. I think he really improved on the season before. I think he is solid. He has massive leadership skills. But I do think there's better out there for a starting centre-back for me. But I think I'm going to give him a 7 based on last season, and I think based on the fact that I could see him pretty much, you know, holding down that leadership position in the back. What do you think? Go with you, James?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with what you said. I think credit where credit's due. Dyer was probably one of our better defenders last year. I think he really stepped up to the plate and performed very well in bigger games, which is what we're not used to with Dyer. I mean, the previous years before that, it was a case of who out of the two, Dyer or Sanchez, was going to make the mistake before we had Romero. And actually, to be fair, Dyer really did step it up last year. I'd have probably even given Dyer an 8 out of 10 last season. This season, I think he has come a long way, but I could see maybe mistakes coming in where it matters. And that's just because I recognize that he's done it before. So I would give him, I think he's going to be like a 7 out of 10 season, maybe not quite as good as last season. But if I was doing 0.5s, I know we don't do it on this channel, but I'd have gone 7.5.
We do.
We're allowed to do 0.5s?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember doing a 0.5 before, and last time I came on here, and you said I couldn't do it. So.
No, that wasn't me. You can do it. I give out a lot of 0.5s.
Maybe. Apologies. Maybe I'm confusing the channels. So I'll go a 7.5 then in that case. Awesome.
Sean, what are you saying about Dyer?
I forgot about the Dave Portnoy rule about you have to have points. That's very pertinent given that it's Eric Dyer who's brought it into the Spurs world. I thought Dyer was exceptional last season. And one thing that we tended to overestimate was actually his linguistic skills. Being fluent with both Portuguese and Spanish helped a lot. I've gone for an 8, but I will definitely, I won't introduce a decimal at this point, but I'll go at 8.0.
An 8. All right. 8 for Dyer. Okay.
What would you have given him last season? Sorry to ask questions on your own channel, but what would you have given him last year, Sean?
I would have actually given him sort of like in the high 8s, maybe closer to 9. I thought he was exceptional last season.
He was.
Yeah. Well, we will have a recap of this at the end of the season, so we'll see what happens.
Cool.
Cool. Moving on to Romero. Sean, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think the list I submitted to you, Jodi, will need to be amended. This guy is going to this guy is going to be exceptional. He is going to be at a 9.5. He is going to absolutely rip it up.
Wow.
And yeah, I think he's going to be exceptional for us this season.
9.5. That's big shouts there, Shawnee. We'll see what happens. Hopefully there's no injuries. I don't want to put that out there, by the way. Sorry, let's take that back. Let's retract that back. James, what are you saying about Romero?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's an absolute Rolls Royce. Like, there's no questions asked. He was brilliant again last season, and can I go as high as a 9.5? I don't think I can, because a 9.5 for me is almost perfect. Like, you know, you can't do any better. So I don't see that. I do see Romero maybe getting caught out 1 or 2 times in separate games, not in the same way Dyer does, where Dyer's sloppy, as well as Davinson Sanchez. Yeah. I don't even want to talk about him. I know we've got in about 4 players' time, 3 players' time. But Romero, I mean, we saw it yesterday. If you guys watched the friendly, I mean, he was just brilliant again. And he was even got a yellow card because he squared up to someone and put his hand on someone's neck, Pellegrini's neck, and there was a bit of a handbags going on there. So he's just so hyped up all the time, which we could see the negatives being, I reckon he'll get a couple of red cards next season. He didn't last season. He did in the Europa League, Conference League, didn't he? Yeah. But I could see an 8.5 for Romero this season. I think he'll have a very good season.
Awesome. So 8.5 for James, 9.5 for Sean. I'm going to give him a 9. I agree with you on the aggressiveness, James, and I think if we get time, we do have a segment for who's going to get the most yellow cards and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm going to go 9 just because I think he's a boss for us at the back. I think he's made such a impression since he's been there. And yeah, really, really, really keen to see what he keeps doing for us this season. Yeah, 9's good. I think a 9 for me.
Like it.
All right, let's move on to who we got next. We got Davies. Sorry, Ben Davies. What am I going to say about Ben Davies? Obviously signed his new contract, so that's exciting for the Davies lovers out there. I think a 7 for me. I think solid, dependable Ben. Just, you can always rely on him. I think a 7 based on kind of what he did last season. He played really well last season. Again, I think for us, I think, yeah, hopefully for him, he improves on, again, based on kind of the training and stuff that Conte's put out for him. But yeah, I think for me, a 7. So, Sean, what are you saying?
Yeah, I'm same score for me on Ben Davies. Love the guy. There does seem to be a narrative that he's only become good because of Conte, but it's really because he's playing in the back 3, which he does in the for his international team. And I think he's a great player, great squad player. From the All or Nothing documentary, seems to be a good, popular member of the dressing room as well. And congratulations to him on his recent marriage as well. Love his photos on our Insta.
James, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think actually, being honest, maybe causing a little bit of a debate. I know we shouldn't be doing this, but I would have given Ben Davies more last season than a 7. I thought he was exceptional. He really did step up to the plate. He really did improve on the classic Ben Davies performances where he kind of loses the ball and makes mistakes. Yes, we saw it. I think it was one game against Wolves where he really did just boot it out into the edge of the box, and then they scored and we lost that game 3-2. It was absolutely abysmal, wasn't it? 3-1. I can't even remember now.
It was Southampton. Yeah, it was Southampton. Yeah.
I think it was the Wolves game where he booted it out and he went right to the edge of the box. And I think it was it Neves or one of the midfielders, Dendoncker, scored. It was absolutely horrendous. So there was 1 or 2 games where he did slip up, but like he was my man of the match against Liverpool away from home at Anfield. Yeah. Absolutely solid performance. He was one of my man of the matches against Arsenal at home. He was really stepping up in the bigger games. And like Sean said, left centre back is his position. He plays there for Wales along with Joe Rodon, and it works absolutely phenomenally. So I would have given him an 8 out of 10 last season, but I know we're talking about this season. This season, I don't think he'll get as much game time because of Clement Longley coming in. He'll be left centre-back, I reckon, for the majority of games. I think Longley will have to knock Davies out of that position, but I think that means Ben Davies will play less games, and therefore I'll probably give him a 7 out of 10 for when he does perform this season.
Mm-hmm. 7s all around? 7s across the board?
Absolutely.
Shawnee, 7? You agreeing with that?
Yeah.
Right. Let's move on then, Longley. I think, Sean, let's go with you. What are you thinking?
Well, I'm still purring about his second half performance last night. I thought he was absolutely
that's irrelevant. Preseason.
Yeah, but how can I judge without seeing him play? You know, I saw him briefly at Ibrox in the flesh. He looked good then. He looked good in Haifa last night. So I'm going with a 7.5 for Clement, and I think he will probably be the left centre back come the end of the season.
Do you think, just a quick question, do you think we're going to be seeing any more centre backs coming in?
No.
I don't know. It's hard to tell. I would like to see a centre back come back.
I think with Rodon as well going off, you know, I think we are in a bit of a position where we do need someone.
Yeah, but that's also pruning the foreign players for the Champions League, you know.
And also, it's classic Spurs, isn't it? I'm not being negative, but we've made an incredible window for as long as I can remember. Probably the best window. 6 brilliant players in, 2 or 3 which are real game changers, and we're then 1 or 2 players off, like we were under Poch when we didn't win the league with Poch when we should have done. And we should have invested in 1 or 2 more players, and we didn't. It seems like the same thing where we don't quite go over the line with the investment. That's what I think. I hope we sign a centre back. I hope I'm proven wrong, but I don't see us signing another centre back. I think we'll sign 1 more player, and I can see it being a creative midfielder just so Conte has something to work off with off the bench.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm not happy about that, but
that's right. That's Spurs though. We know it is because we never do the full Monty. We always do 1 or 2 less than that, and that's why we will never. That's why we won't win the league. That's me being honest.
I'll cover your Poch and I'll raise you Harry Redknapp. Ryan Nelson.
Right, come on, guys. We need to move on.
Sorry, Judge.
James, what are you saying? What are you saying about Longley?
Longley, I agree with Sean. I think he did play very well second half last night. I think he'll probably knock Ben Davies out of the first team. Maybe not straight away, but I do think he will be our starting left centre-back for a lot of the season. I think he does look good. I was not convinced when we signed him. I thought from watching him at Barcelona, he's probably one of Barcelona's worst defenders, and they're not renowned for having good defenders. But he did have a really good spell at Sevilla, so I'm going to go with a 7 for Clement Longley.
All right. 7, a 7.5. Just a quick shout out to everyone we got in the comments today. So we've got the hottest Spur. Thank you for your rating predictions. I've got to say,
I love his 0.1s and 0.3s.
I was about to say, 0.1 and 0.3. I'm gonna have to round that up and down. I agree and I like it, but for my when I'm tallying it up, it's not gonna work. I love it, but I'm gonna have to round up and down. I'm sorry, buddy. But thank you for being here, and I love all your comments.
Judge Jodi, you haven't got a supercomputer.
Well, we need to, the budget might not allow this season, but we'll see what happens next season. Eddie Ryan, are you watching the same diary as me? I give him a 5.
Oh, that's outrageous, Eddie. That's outrageous.
Eddie, submit these to Jodi.
Everybody submit your ratings too.
Because there'll be a hall of shame come the end of the season.
Sounds like Eddie Ryan's still watching Eric Dyer from 2020, not 2022. You've got to go 2 years on, mate.
And we got Mark Swift in the comments as always. Mark Swift, so lovely to see you. 10 out of 10. I mean, what can I say? Thank you, Mark. Thank you for being here and for cheering us on and everything. You got to give your ratings for the players though, right? Not for the panel, for the players. Cool. So let's move on. We've got our last defender. We gotta make a bit of a move on because we're burning time here. So Sanchez. Davinson Sanchez. I'm going to start with you, James. What are you thinking about Sanchez?
Well, quickly, he did actually have a good game. He did have a really good game yesterday. He made a couple of really good slide tackles and did make a really, a couple of last resort blocks. In terms of how I rate him as a player, I think you could tell from my previous reaction, I'm not a massive Davinson Sanchez fan. I think The one that stays in my head rent-free is when we played Man City and he literally ended up on his backside because Gundogan, completely turned him and it was embarrassing. He sometimes gets lost where the ball is, but then again has really good games. So he can have a 9 out of 10 game and then majority are about a 5 out of 10. So if you average that out, I'm giving Davinson Sanchez a 6 out of 10 for next season.
Yep. That's fair. I've given him a 6 as well. I think, Sanchez. I don't know. I think sometimes we are a bit too harsh on him. He does make lots of mistakes. He doesn't have those leadership qualities. But then I do think Conte does have him in his kind of leadership, team for the kind of South American guys, I think. And I don't know. I think we do give him a lot of stick, and he has impressed me a little bit in kind of the back end of last season when he was playing, obviously, and then the preseason games, but I'm not really counting those. So I'm giving him a 6, and if he can do any better for me, please Sanchez, just show it. Sean, what are you saying?
Yeah, the Marmite player, isn't he? Really? Yeah, I've gone for 5.9 because I feel
can't do 9s.
5.9. Yeah, can do 0.9s. Why not?
Because it's got to be up or down, isn't it? That's the whole thing.
It's for 0.5. So you can do whole numbers or 0.5s. That's what I'll allow in this courtroom.
Oh God, the judges! I'm now in contempt of court. Okay, well I'll go 6 then for Sanchez.
6 for Sanchez. 6s across the board. I like it. Eddie Ryan is asking, I think it might be you, Sean. You can give Dyer an 8 and Davies a 7.
How can I do that? Because that's my view. Cheers, Eddie. Love you, mate.
And then that.
Young Putty is also going on the 0.1 bandwagon, joining the hottest Spur there. So thanks there, Young Putty. Yes, so we are doing ratings so basically you've missed the start, but that's okay. We'll back it up for you. So it's the average, what we think the players are going to do next season. So anybody who's just joining us now, what we're doing is giving the average ratings for the season. We'll come back together for another show at the end of the season. And I want everybody that's out there to give their ratings as well, because we're going to have a prize for whoever's the closest. So it's fun. We're trying to put some fun into this game.
It's always fun here.
It's always fun at Paxton Road, guys. We've got loads coming for you. All right, let's move on. We got the wing backs. Again, apologies for the pitches. That's not me. That's just that they're not available yet. So we've got our wing backs. What are we saying about our wing backs? So we got Perisic. Who's going to go first for this one? I'm going to go with you, James.
Yeah, I'll take this one. Perisic, he is going to be an absolute baller this season. I'm really excited to see Perisic. Probably the only one that I'm more excited for is Basuma, but Perisic has looked brilliant when he's come on, putting great crosses, bombed down the line. He's 33 years old. Everyone's saying he needs a walking stick, but for goodness sake, he looks unbelievable. Really, really quick, really, really versatile player that can play up front, on the wing, left wing back, but I think he'll be playing left wing back like you've put. I'm going to say Perisic is going to be an exciting player this season. He's going to be really good addition, 8.5 out of 10.
8.5. Oh, wow.
Bang.
Shouts.
Someone's put 9 in the chat, so I think 8.5, yeah, I think that's pretty smart.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Yep, nice. Sean, what are you saying?
Perisic will be an absolute baller. Echo everything my young friend has just said. So I've gone for 8.5.
Perfect. 8.5. I am giving him an 8.5 as well, Sean. I haven't seen too much of it. I mean, I've seen what he's done outside of Spurs. I haven't seen too much of him because I haven't been able to watch the majority of the preseason games. I've caught the glimpses and stuff. And I think, really important player for us. Obviously, people who watch the show probably understand my not loving of a certain left wing back that we had, Reguilon. So anything as an upgrade from him for me definitely gets high ratings. So I'm going to give him a 8.5.
Just noticed Reguilon's not on here. Are we saying he's gone?
No, we are not saying that. We're saying what we think is going to happen next season. Obviously, we don't have enough time to get through all the players. I don't want to be, here for 3 hours getting through everyone. So I think for me, I just want to get through who we think we're going to see and what we're going to give them. Obviously, if Reguilon and the likes are going to be getting more game time, then we're going to have to start sending in ratings for them as well. But for now, this is my starting team. This is my playing team, and this is what I think is going to happen next season. So
sure.
Cool. So we're going to move on to Cess. Sean, what are you saying about Cess?
I'm still to be convinced by Sessegnon, I must admit. He doesn't seem to be the same player that we bought from Fulham. So I've only gone for a 6.5 for Orion.
6.5. Just loving this comment here by Young Putty saying Reguilon's a 0. Thank you for that. What are you saying, James?
I think Sessegnon, it's his breakthrough season. I think he's looking stacked as well. He's been on the weights.
He does, yeah.
And I think he means business. I think it's time for him to step up. If not, he's probably going to get sold. So I'm going to back the guy. I'm going to believe in him. And I'm going to say a 7 would be a decent season for him. 7.
7. What have I given him? I think I gave him a 7 as well. Let me just check my notes. Yes, I gave him a 7 as well. I agree. I was preferring him over Reguilon, which is no surprise. Last season, I think the only issue we have with him is obviously injuries. I think we do see Perisic starting over him. Obviously, now he's fit. So I think it's going to be a good season for Cess to get more game time. I do think and hope that there's going to be a lot more changing up of players now that we've got a better kind of stacked squad. So hopefully for him, I think it'll be a good season. I think also with Spence coming in, I think they also trained together, didn't they? So it could be a good opportunity for them to kind of gel. And I don't know. I think it's going to be a good one. So I think I'm going to give him a 7. We are moving on to our right wing backs. Oh dear, right wing back area. This is a conversation and a show all in itself, really. I think for me, Matt Doherty. I'll start. I think he's going to be the starting right wing back for me. I'm going to give him a 7. I think he did some great stuff last season, but he also does some stuff that kind of annoys me as well. And I don't think he is the strongest in that area. He's proven that he can perform, and he's also proven at left wing back that he can perform really well there as well. But I think a 7 just based on last season. We know that's our problem area, and I don't know what more I could say really. A 7 for me for Doherty. What are you saying, Sean?
The Irish Cafu, Roberto Carlos. Yes. It's solid 7.5 for me. Doherty is our first choice right wing back, as you say, Judge, and I think he's going to be fine. He seems to be part of the team, part of the golfing fraternity. I noticed in the squad. So he ticks all the boxes for me. He's Irish, and he's the leading right wing back currently. Yeah. Unless we get Hakimi, I can't see an improvement.
It's not FIFA career mode. It's Tottenham Hotspur in real life. We're not getting Hakimi.
I agree with that.
Well, some people think we're getting Maddison at 60 million. So
not a chance. We are getting Maddison.
Not happening. Unfortunately, it's not. What are you saying, James?
I kind of echo some of your thoughts in terms of I think he's our best option. I think he stepped up to the plate last season. We saw 5 or 6 games where he was really, really good against Everton, against Leeds. I think also he just played some really good. Everton at home was ridiculous. He literally was Cafu. The balls he was playing to Kane and Son was ridiculous. And we saw some really solid performances. I think Newcastle at home was another one where he got on the score sheet as well. I would honestly have given him last season for those performances, like a 7.5, even an 8. Yeah. I think he will play more games than Spence. I don't think Spence is quite ready. It's almost like a Sessegnon situation where he won't quite be breaking into the first team because there's someone better than him, aka last season with Reguilon. But this season, I think Doherty's more experienced. I would give Doherty, I think he will get a 7.5 next season in total. I think he will do very well, but obviously, hopefully he doesn't get injured again.
Cool. So 2 7.5s and a 7. I like it. And Young Putty going to 7.4. All right, I'm going to round that to 7.5. All right, so we are now on. Where are we? So we're Doherty.
Come on, it's the one that's.
Oh, Emerson. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong place. Emerson Royal. Oh dear. Okay. I think Sean, you can go with Emerson. What are you saying?
Thank you very much. Yeah. Emerson, apart from providing the meme of the season when he's holding the flare against Arsenal, is a dreadful player. He really is. I mean, I think I said on one of the streams earlier this week, I watched him pre-match at Ibrox. He was right in front of me. He could not hit a barn door from 10 feet. He is dreadful. And that is the most important thing in a wing back, is to be able to cross. He is not going to be he's not going to be it, I'm afraid. I'm sorry. Yes, he had significantly good contributions at times, but for me, he's just not what Conte needs or wants. So for me, I've gone for 6.
Okay.
Completely agree. I think 6. I don't think he's going to be like really, really dreadful, but I think he can be very poor in games and can cost us. Not very good at crossing. People say he's better defensively, but I also argue that point. I don't think he's amazing defensively either. I think 6 out of 10 is being pretty fair, and hopefully he surprises us, right? But I just don't see it. I think Doherty's a better player than him, and I even would put Perisic on the right over him. Even in that case, I really would.
Yeah, and I'm looking at my notes as well. I've given him a 6. He got, obviously, and I don't want to dwell into last season, but I think he was probably one of the lowest rated if we average everything out last season. We're not looking at that. We're looking going forward. I want to be positive, and I want big things for you, Emerson. But I agree with everything you guys are saying. He's still not proven me. I mean, he did improve. He really did improve towards the end, but again, and I don't want to talk about preseason because for me it doesn't really count, but it kind of, you can see stuff there. It's not great. And I think with Lucas sometimes starting that right wing back position, I don't know if that was just a preseason thing to get him minutes. I don't know, but yeah, I think I don't think he's really a Conte type player. Maybe the fact that we've not really seen him start a lot of those games. So yeah, I think a 6 is fair. I think he's got a bit to prove. Young Putty is saying he might surprise people if he stays. Agree, we can always hope and dream. And I think people do see some talent there. I don't know. It's not. He needs to improve massively, I think, if he's going to start ahead of Doherty in my kind of thinking. So yeah, 6s across the board, I think is fair. Right, let's move on to Spence. I've given him a 6 as well, just because for me, I think there's a lot of potential there. I haven't, had a chance to really see him play for Spurs, really. I think he can probably get more. I don't know how much playing time he's going to get. Definitely don't see him starting ahead of Doherty unless he really, really kind of shows big things this season. So I think based on kind of what I know there's definitely potential. I know he's an amazing player, and he has that talent there. But I just think for me, I can't give him any more than a 6 right now, just based on what I've seen. Sean?
I have high hopes for Spence. I think he's one of those players that fancies himself, and not in any other way than he thinks he can be a good footballer. I think he'll get a 7. I'm not saying he's going to play as often as Doherty, for instance, but I think he'll certainly surprise us.
James?
I'm going right down the middle. I think 6.5. I don't think we're going to see him in many games. I think he'll probably play between like 10 and 15 games, probably most off the bench. But I think from what he will do, I don't think he'll be a world beater yet. He's still very young, but bags of potential, like you said, Jodi. And I think 6.5 for this season.
All right, let's move on, guys. Let's move on. I like that. So you're saying 6.5 for Spence. Let's move on to our forwards. All right. Let's see what we're saying. Oh, still went back.
Midfielders.
Oh, midfielders. Right. All right. We have.
It's not a polo, Jodi. You got something in the middle.
I know. I thought we were nearly there. Right. I think we're going to do this really quickly. So we're going to say Bentancur. Sean, what are you saying?
8.5. Love this guy.
8.5.
Love this guy.
James?
7.5. I don't quite think he's 8.5 levels. I think he did very well when he came in and did change that midfield, but don't forget he changed it because we had Winks and Højbjerg, who's very up and down. So he's not like he's coming to a midfield full of world-class players. So I'm giving him a 7.5. I think he'll have a good season.
7.5. Yeah, I'm going to say. I think I want to say 7.5 with you. I really like Bentancur. I think he showed us some really good stuff. I just hope we see him. Yeah, I don't know who we're going to kind of see as the starting mid pair. I think it was Højbjerg and Bissouma. I think was kind of what was spoken about, but I don't know. 7.5 for me. Moving on to Bissouma, then I think for me. Again, I think I'm going to go 7.5 Bissouma. Obviously, can't really tell much at the moment for Spurs. I know, obviously, he's got a lot of talent there. And I really hope that we can kind of see that unlock at Spurs. Sean?
I love Bissouma, and I've gone 8.5 for him too.
8.5. Nice. James?
I live fairly near Brighton, so I watch Bissouma quite a lot, and he is absolutely class. Like, he was Brighton's best player by miles. People say Cucurella and Lamptey. Bissouma is the real deal. They're going to really struggle without him, but in terms of their losses are gain, I think he's going to be an absolute game changer in our midfield, even a higher level than Bentancur. So I'm really excited for Bissouma. He's my signing of the season. I think he'll be the signing of the Premier League season, or certainly up there. I think he's going to have a 9 out of 10 season. I really do.
Whoa, shouts. Nice. I hope so.
Bissouma, boss the midfield. Absolutely.
Bissouma. I like it. Højbjerg, I mean, yeah, I think 7 for me for Højbjerg, just based on his, I hope he gets a rest this season, and I think he will now. But yeah, I think he's just classic Højbjerg. I think he does classic Højbjerg things, whether that's kind of being like that classic, Viking guy in the middle that kind of shows up for us when we need him to. He's just a standard 7, I think, for me, and I hope he can improve on that for us this season. But what are you saying about that, Sean?
Yeah, I'm going 7 as well. He I don't know. There's something I don't get. I mean, he is part of the leadership team without a doubt, but
yeah,
I'm not to be convinced compared to the 2 guys that we've just marked.
Agree, James?
I was going to say 7.5. I was going to say 7 like you, but then I want to go 7.5 purely because I think there is a lot of slander with Højbjerg. I think he does get talked down on too much. I think people are very quick to criticize when he doesn't play so well. And don't forget, most players have bad games. But also when he does play well, he's kind of that unsung hero where he doesn't really get many plaudits. So I think a lot of the time he will be an 8, and some of the time he can play at a 6. Sometimes he can play at a 7. So I'm going to say a 7.5 on average this season.
Cool. 7.5. And then let's move on quickly to Skippy. I'm going to give him a 7 again as well. It could be an 8. I know Skip's he does have a lot of talent there, but I don't know again how much time he's going to get and where he's going to fit in and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to go 7 for me for Skip. Sean?
7.5 for me. I love our academy boys when they make it to the team, and he will be in our team at some stage this season. So yeah, 7.5 for me. Keep going, Skippy.
James?
See, I do like Skip, but I'm not like one of these super Skip fans that, think he's going to suddenly be our captain one day and he's going to lead our midfield. I just think being more realistic, we were saying that about Harry Winks about 5-6 years ago, and look at him now. Everyone wants, him gone ASAP. I'm not saying it's going to happen with Skip, but I just think he's the 4th best midfielder in our team. Yeah. I think the other 3 are better players. They're more experienced. Yeah. They're more well-rounded. So he's not going to get much game time. And when he does get game time in a midfield position, he's not really a midfielder that's going to come on and change the game. He's going to sit back and soak up pressure. So he's not going to wow people coming off the bench. So I'm going to go 6.5.
6.5. Yeah. Okay. So you got a 7, 6.5, and a 7.5. All right. Let's move on. We're moving on to now the forwards. Harry Kane, Katrina. I think Sean, you can go. You can go with our boy Harry. What are you saying?
He will be a 9. He is going to have a season to reckon with, I feel. Look at him. He just looks...
He looks very fit, doesn't he?
God, hence I think the word is you younger. So, yeah, he's going to be fine.
Yeah, I think, yeah, definitely. I'm going to give him an 8.5. He'll probably surpass that, but I just got a bit annoyed at him last season because I kept putting him on my fantasy team and he just wasn't doing anything. I know last season was a different beast all in itself, but I don't want to get burnt again. So I'm going to say 8.5 for Harry. Hopefully he's going to surpass that and get a 9 or a 10, but I think I'm just going to be like, 8.5, be safe and see how that goes for me. James?
I'm going one out. I'm going 9.5. I think he's going to have an unbelievable season. Like, you know, I could talk about Harry Kane for 20 minutes, but I know we haven't got that long. But he is literally absolute class. The way his game's developed, and he drops deeper, he gets the ball, he gets assists. Obviously, we saw many assists last season. He was up there in getting the assists for the team. And also, I think the pressure's coming off him because obviously Richarlison's coming in. Kulusevski came in the second half of last season and got a lot of the goals. So just because he doesn't score loads more goals like maybe he did a few 2 or 3 seasons ago, I think he'll score more goals next season anyway. Mm-hmm. But I think the pressure's off him to score as many because of that, you know, weight off his shoulders. So I think he's just an absolutely all-round class player, great at heading, great at long shots, not great at free kicks as we know, but everything else he's almost perfect. So 9.5 Harry Kane. He's going to score 23 goals next season, honestly.
Oof. Shouts. Another prediction. 23 goals. I'm going to write that down, James. It's going to add
Please
to your...
do. That one's worth a Lamborghini if I got that on spot.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Sean, Son, let's move on.
Son will be 8.5. He will have a great season again.
What did you say, 8.5?
End of 8.5.
8.5. Okay, I'm going to say a 9. There's no bias in that at all.
Surprise.
No bias in that. Based on last season, based on the way he performed, based on just, you know, his vibe and everything at the club at the moment, I think he's going to have another worldie, and I'm going to say average of 9 for me for Son. James?
Last season, he was a 9 or a 9.5. Like, Golden Boot winner, just phenomenally good, like ridiculously good. Especially the back end of last season, he was scoring for fun. He was up there with the goal contributions per game was ridiculous. World class player. I would like to see him take more free kicks because I've seen him banging him in for South Korea, and I don't know why Harry Kane still thinks he can shoot when he just puts it at the wall. But for me, I absolutely love Son. I almost want to go 9.5. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go 9.5 as well. I think Kane and Son, their partnership they form, you saw it in pre-season. They've assisted each other a couple more times. That record they have where they've, you know, contributed together with the most amount of goals is just going to continue to rise. So I'm going 9.5 for Sonny as well. What a player.
9.5. I love it. Right. Moving on to Kulusevski. What are you saying, Sean?
I'm going for a good 8 for our Ginger Swede. Yeah, I think we've all taken him to our heart. I mean, I've never known a player get a song so sung enthusiastically so quickly. Yeah. I love Kulu. Yeah, I love the fact he's a fiery redhead as well, as I saw in the pre-season at Ibrox. I mean, how he was contesting a yellow card for his simulation was unbelievable.
He did that last season as well, though. Do you remember against Brighton when he got booked for like throwing an elbow? He probably should have got sent off.
Oh yeah, he should have got sent off.
I'm glad. He should have been sent off against Leeds away. I remember as well.
He's got a bit of a he's a hot head, isn't he?
Yeah.
Fiery. He's fiery. So you're giving him an 8. I'm going to go an 8 as well. I think I loved him last season. I think he's definitely going to hopefully get some more goals and stuff for us again. James?
Yeah, hat trick, 8, 100%.
8 across the board.
Very good impact last season, and he's a very good player. I just want him to cut in on his right, not his left more. Like, it's just so predictable. Like
Yeah.
he's getting too predictable. I think Conte will maybe change that plan, but yeah, 8 for me.
Perfect. Right. Richarlison. We're moving on. What have I said for Richarlison? I've given him a 7.5.
Oh,
7.5.
okay.
7.5. 7.5, just because I think there's potential there. It was between a 7 and a 7.5, but I think I've added that 0.5 just because I think I don't know how
You like the
much time
pigeon?
he'll. Yeah. Oh man, that pigeon. That's
He's
so
been teaching
scary.
Sonny that as well. Did you see
I
the
saw
video?
that. That's going to come
Yeah.
out at some point, isn't it? It's
These
ridiculous.
guys. Yeah, I think it's between a 7.5. I don't know how much he's going to be playing. Like, I do hope he's going to give the guys a rest and he'll come on and hopefully, like, just bank some goals for us. But yeah, I'll say 7.5. I have some high hopes, and we'll see how that plays out for me. Sean, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm excuse me, in the same camp. 7.5 for me. I like the guy. I like his attitude. I like his shitehousery as well. So yeah, let's go for it. Yeah, 7.5.
Perfect. James?
Not quite at 7.5 for me. I'm going 7. I know we're talking margins,
Yep.
but I
Yeah.
wasn't fully convinced on this signing, and I still
I
need
wasn't
more
either.
convincing because I do think he's a good player, and he was Everton's best player, but he's Everton's best player. Let me just stress
The
again. I
price,
think,
though, as well.
yeah, I just think it's a random one. I know we do need another forward, but I mean, he could obviously completely surprise us, but I think he'll have a 7 out of 10 where he'll play. He'll probably get like 7 or 8 goals this season in the Prem, I think.
Well, we need goals from everywhere, not just the two. The hallowed two.
No,
I mean,
definitely.
I want goals from. I'm seeing more in Perisic, for example, than in Sessegnon.
We'll
At least
see.
he's
We'll
got a
see.
shot.
We don't know yet. Let's see. Let's wait. It starts next week.
There you go.
All right, let's move on. We've got some shots there. So our final player that we're going to be rating today is Moura. And I think no one better to give their first prediction is Sean. I know he's your favorite player. And I say that through gritted teeth because for those of people who do not know, Sean hasn't got the most admiration for our boy Lucas. But Sean, what are you thinking?
Yeah, obviously Mourinho, Conte, and others see something in this player that I just don't get. Yeah, he's oh god. To see that he signed a new contract was like the heartbreaking element of this transfer window for me. I was hoping that we would just let him take his year, maybe take an option that we still got, but to extend it, oh god. Oh well. Anyway,
So what
yeah,
are you
I've
saying
gone
rating wise?
5.
Oh wow. Okay.
He's
Dear.
just
That's on the
thriving
list.
on Amsterdam. I can't go the guy. Sorry.
Okay, James.
I think the Lucas Thunder is I don't agree with. And I think he's been a completely amazing servant to the club. I don't think obviously he hasn't scored the goals. It's like a Lamella situation where he hasn't scored the goals, but you cannot fault his passion. And I know the obvious answer is, well, passion doesn't, get you goals, doesn't get you points, doesn't get you wins. But his dedication and everything else, we know he's not a starting player anymore. But he's a great alternative to come off the bench. He does make an impact off the bench occasionally, and I will agree occasionally, like not all the time. But I just don't think he's ever going to be quite that level we saw in 2019, where he did score in the Champions League semi-final. He did, he was incredible. But 6.5, but potentially a 7. So I'm going to go a 6.5.
6.5.
But yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean he's a starting player, and a bit like a Skip situation, he's still a good player, but he won't get a lot of game time, especially as Richarlison is now probably going to come off the bench before him.
Yeah. I think I'm with you there. I'm in between a 6.5 and a 7 for Moura. I don't know, because I like him. He does come off the bench. Sometimes he can score a goal for us. I like the energy he has when he comes on. Sometimes, not all the time. And like Eddie Ryan's saying, he comes on like a headless chicken. I think we've all said that on various streams and things about Lucas. The decision, the decisiveness for him is just not there. So in that regard, I think I'm going to go a 6.5, just because. Yeah, I just think that I don't know. I like the potential that he had and has sometimes, but it's not always there, and we've got better options. So yeah, 6.5. We'll see what happens. So I think that's it really for our show. James, I know you have to run. Do you want to go now and I can finish the show with Sean? Or
I mean, I've got about 2 minutes, so it's up to 2 or 3 minutes.
No.
Up to you.
Just one more thing I just wanted to check in with you guys. So I just really wanted to see, who do you guys think is going to get the most jail time this year? So obviously this show, for people who've not seen the show before, is the courtroom. We do have Crime of the Week. It's a segment that we have at the end of the season. And that's really anything from any player, on pitch activities, off pitch activities. It could be, anything to do with Tottenham Hotspur, really. So yeah, I think I'd just like to get you guys' thoughts on who's going to get the most jail time this season. Last season, it was kind of a combination between, refereeing. It was like there was VAR was getting in there. We had Dele Alli was featuring quite a lot, but obviously he's not with us anymore. What are you guys thinking? Sean, I'll go with you first.
I think VAR will again be the most frustrating thing in the world. God, I think they've changed the rules again. So again, we're in the blind, the blind being led by the ridiculous, So
you're going to say VAR?
Yeah.
James?
If he doesn't go and he's somehow in this squad still, I'm going to put in Ndombele, because I don't want him in my club anymore, and it doesn't look like he's going. I mean, there's still a few more weeks of the transfer window, but it looks like Lo Celso's off, but maybe not Ndombele, and people are then going, does he deserve another chance? Absolutely not. He doesn't deserve another chance. He can't even hold his own against Morecambe in the FA Cup. So Ndombele, probably even put Emerson in there, because I just think he's probably going to have another stinker season. Yeah, he had a couple of good games last season, but what's a couple out of 38? Yeah, Emerson. VAR is obviously annoying, but it is what it is. That's just the decision the Premier League's made. And I think probably Chelsea are going to do our head-ins again, although we probably think we're going to beat them this season. They seem to always beat us, so I absolutely can't stand Chelsea. Can I throw them in as well?
Yeah, anyone. Anything's clear.
There you go.
It is a Spurs.
I will add Daniel Levy. He gets the blame for everything. So.
Oh god! All right, we got to move on, guys. We got to move on for this. I'm just going to throw my.
How big's the jail? You got like 10.
It's pretty big. It's pretty big.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to say the refereeing again. I think we're going to see a lot of shoddy refereeing this season. Unfortunately, I don't think there's going to be any improvement there. I think VAR as well is going to get some shouts. In terms of players, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think we'll see. We'll see. We've got a few younger players in the squad now as well, so we'll see if any kind of social media stuff comes up. Any off-pitch activities potentially might be getting in there. So it's going to be a long season, and I'm very excited about it. So let's see what happens. But guys, thank you so much for being part of the show today. It's a special show. Just really wanted to get your thoughts on like who we think is going to get the ratings this season, and obviously the guys watching in as well. Please send through your predictions for this season's ratings. Like I said, we're going to have a prize at the end of the season, so we'll do another show and we'll see who's going to get the ratings. So yeah, I think whoever's closest will get a prize. So it's a very exciting time ahead. Any final thoughts at all from anyone? James, go with you first.
Yeah, just absolutely buzzing for the new season next week. It's come around pretty quick, and think Spurs are going to get top 3 is my prediction on that one.
Top 3. Perfect. I like that. Sean?
Yeah, bring it on. I will be in the South Stand next Saturday. Looking forward to it. Yeah. I like James. I think a top 3 finish for us.
There you go.
I think we can do it. I think, I hope so as well. Potentially for everyone in, like, if we get another centre back in there, defense is where we win trophies and things like that. So please.
That's Jodi praying, yeah.
Also, I think for me, the outgoings is very important. We haven't seen enough players like James is saying, and Ndombele, Reguilon, Lo Celso, all those guys. I think we need to see some more outgoings in the next few weeks, and before the season ends. So yeah, let's look out for that. Guys, look out for all our shows on Paxton Road TV. Thank you so much for being a part of today. I really appreciate everybody and your comments and everything today. And I think we're gonna all go off and hopefully watch the Lionesses smash Germany. So come on, England.
Let's go.
And
Let's
yeah,
go.
Judge Jody's back next Sunday, looking I think around 6 p.m. So if anybody wants to catch that, please do, and look forward to seeing everybody there. Stay safe, and we'll see you very soon.